Fake unemployment claims have hit Washington pretty hard, affecting thousands of people. How to protect yourself. Plus, enforcing a stay-at-home order. What are the consequences if you don't follow certain guidelines?
After record-breaking rainfall yesterday, we have one more day of rain before we get to a much warmer and drier stretch of weather.
Good evening and thank you for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Regina On. Let's get right to our top story tonight. It's the latest scam to hit the state, targeting thousands of Washingtonians to make fake unemployment claims and defraud the state. Now the state is vowing to recover millions in stolen cash from fake unemployment claims.
It is a balance. And how do we balance getting that money out broadly and quickly with clamping down in order to keep out the criminals and the fraudsters?
That's Employment Security Department Commissioner Susie Levine. She says the rise in fake claims is causing delays in people getting their benefits, but those delays are actually working to block the fraud. That's because they're delaying deposits until additional verification is complete. Levine also says people can rest assured that the ESD website itself hasn't been hacked.
We have not had a data breach, and the information was not stolen from us.
She adds it was the utilization of stolen information on this site. Other states are also reporting being hit. Levine says Washington could have been an early target because it was one of, if not the only state to get enhanced benefits in place. And even though people are starting to return to work, other companies are letting employees go. More than 2.4 million people applied for unemployment benefits last week. That brings the total number of unemployment claims to more than 38 million since the pandemic hit. Well, we've shown you many stories this week about businesses violating the stay-at-home order, but a big question continues to be, what are the actual consequences for breaking those rules? Our Casey Decker looked into it.
As we've mentioned before, local law enforcement really isn't going beyond warnings still. They've received more than 1,000 complaints and given out hundreds of warnings, but neither the sheriff's office nor city police have gone beyond that. Both departments say their focus is on safety and education, and it would have to be a pretty extreme scenario for them to shut down a business just trying to survive. Like with traffic tickets, they're using discretion. But after repeat notices, law enforcement says the next stop isn't actually a ticket like we previously thought. It's to compile all the info about the business and what they're doing and send it to lawyers at the health district. They'd then decide what the right course of action is. But so far, nothing locally has gotten even that far. So can businesses operating in flagrant violation just get away with it? Not quite. That's because state regulators are stepping in. In the case of 2 West Side fitness gyms, the state attorney general filed a lawsuit when they repeatedly refused to close. And in the case of a Spokane Valley bar, the state liquor board issued a formal violation, potentially putting their license in jeopardy. We weren't able to find any other instances of enforcement of the stay-home order that went beyond warnings. So why is that? How is it that the liquor board has become the agency most enforcing a public health order? Well, it's because it's how the law was written up. The intention of the order has never been to have cops putting business owners in handcuffs. So the actual guidelines say that complaints should be handled primarily by regulatory agencies. In the case of bars, that means the liquor board. For other businesses, it could be the Department of Licensing or State Labor and Industries. But again, the primary focus is always talking with rather than punishing people, and it's been extremely rare for folks to continue violating the order after those initial warnings. Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Restaurants on the streets and sidewalks may be coming soon to Spokane. The City Council approving changes to its Parklet Street Eateries ordinance today. That means businesses are now allowed to expand onto the sidewalk or street. Applications can be submitted through the city's website. Under Phase 2 guidelines, businesses can seat up to 50% capacity, but now that they can expand outside, the Spokane Regional Health District says businesses will be able to serve more people just as long as tables are 6 feet apart.
If we're able to expand that business outside, we can make up for some of those losses that we're clearly going to have in Phase 2.
Italian Kitchen is one local business that wants to apply for the special permit to expand out to the sidewalk. Owner Bryce Kerr says this would be a huge help to revive his business. Well, Grant County can now apply to move on to phase 2 in Governor Inslee's reopening plan. 3 counties were approved to apply, including Cowlitz and Pacific counties. Just yesterday, the Spokane Health District officially submitted to move on to the next phase. Local leaders are still waiting on a response. We are bringing you new coronavirus information every day, and tonight I'll be talking about Spokane County and Idaho State. For the first time in a while, we're seeing a small but steady increase in new cases in both. And this coming as Spokane County officially submitted a variance to get to phase 2. Meanwhile, Governor Brad Little letting people know that he hopes Idaho continues to be safe and confidently move forward as businesses head into their second week of reopening. So let's go over some numbers today, starting in Idaho. And again, with many people spending time outdoors, maybe at their favorite restaurant or store, it's important to see the progress and where the state stands at this point. So statewide numbers for Idaho, a total of 2,301 confirmed cases, 23 new cases as of today, and 77 deaths. The Panhandle region with a total of 70 cases, no deaths. Kootenai County with 66 cases, Bonner with 4, Benoit, Boundary, and Shoshone all have 0 cases and 0 deaths, so very good there. Ada and Blaine County have the most cases right now in Idaho. Ada with 738, Blaine with 499 so far. And so if we take a look at new and total cases in Idaho, I want to focus on the cumulative cases because you can see the cumulative cases are steadily increasing, as you can see in orange, and the blue, you can see those are the new cases, and those are pretty steady. So we want to see that number go down or flatten out. With all that being said, take a look at this map. This states in light green and yellow indicate the lowest coronavirus cases as of today, Idaho being one of 6 with the lowest. So great job. Keep it up, Idahoans there. Okay, turning our attention now to Spokane County. Today we saw 13 new cases. The last time we saw a number above 10 was back in April 24th with 16 cases. But we don't want to see this trend continue to go up or revert back or rebound. Remember earlier this week we mentioned we wanted to keep an eye on this line right here going up. That small spike is kind of something we are concerned about, and it's continuing to go up. And this is because the 14-day average moving trend is seeing that it is going up. So we want to see it go down or flatten out as we continue to follow guidelines to get into phase 2. Meanwhile, tonight, Governor Brad Little issuing a statement as more businesses are opening their doors and more people are eager to get back to work. He says, quote, "Health and the economy are not mutually exclusive. They are interconnected. We cannot rebound if a huge segment of our population is afraid to engage in the economy again. They will engage, however, if they feel safe going outside their homes to visit businesses and return to work." And looking ahead to tomorrow, Governor Brad Little will host a press conference in regards to a new COVID-19 testing strategy. We'll be live streaming that on our KREM website as well as our Facebook. Join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for that big update coming out of the Gem State. Well, yesterday we hit a daily rain record for our area. As you can imagine, there was a lot of rain yesterday and a little bit today too. So meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining me now. So Thomas, are things going to warm out a little bit, dry out for us for the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely so. But here's the thing. We're not quite to the weekend. As Mark says, today is just Friday Eve. So Friday, well, that's our one day in between now and the weekend. We've actually seen a few more showers, especially in northeastern Washington today, even though we did have a chance to dry out in the Spokane area. So this little cluster of showers is trying to drift to the south and southeast. I think it's going to have a hard time initially at first, but there will be a little push later on in the morning hours tomorrow. So that rainfall not too far away from Spokane. It was also a windy day today. It's calmed down just a bit for now, but those winds will pick back up tomorrow during the day. So expect a rainy morning for us. Not really great outdoor weather. By the afternoon, we're back to scattered showers, if anything else, but you'll still have to keep an eye on the sky. So not necessarily the best outdoor day with it being rainy and windy and cool overall, but at least we go from the 50s tomorrow easily into the 70s by this weekend, and it doesn't stop there. A look at just how warm things will get coming up next week is coming up in a few minutes.
But to make it fair, it is my Friday tonight. My mom's in town, so I'm really excited for that. Thanks, Thomas. Well, let's face it, online schooling continues to provide endless challenges for students here at home, especially for students with special needs. That story coming up next. But before we go to break tonight, we want to share the spotlight on one senior tonight. A big shout out to Kyla Hansen. She's a senior at Oakdale High School, where she played varsity basketball and softball. Kyla is a 4.0 student and is a photographer outside of school. Her family says, to say the least, Kyla is a hard worker and a real go-getter. Graduation is just around the corner, but keep sending in those submissions. Just text 2020 to 509-448-2000 and we'll send you a submission link.